Indiana State. And then there's the Dabo Swinney on the Clemson offense. This is something that our group, this was thrown around last night in our group text, saying he loved what he saw from the offense outside of a few mistakes, and they did have some red zone mistakes. If we do what we did offensively for the rest of the year, we won't lose another game. It's just that simple.
This is bananas coach speak. Absolutely. Look, compare that to what the linebacker from TCU said the other day, where he realistically said, I think I don't think TCU's a laughing stock, but, he grabbed the bull by the horns and said, we're pissed off that we lost and that, we don't like the way that we've been perceived these last two games, especially after everything that's been accomplished here. And then you got Dabo Swinney. He's like, look, we only scored 7 points, turned the ball over a bunch, don't have any playmakers that can separate, but don't worry about it. It's fine. What you're seeing is not what's really happening. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's absolute coach speak nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, they only scored 7 points. So it's hard, even with the red zone turnovers or whatever mistakes you want to point out, to sit there and say that they're on the right track based on that. Even an offense that has some issues is still going to put up more than 7 points, right, in a given game, especially one that's been – where they've been in the recruiting rankings, where they've been in terms of exposure and all of those things. They've had a tremendous amount of success. I think the scary part is, even if he believes that that's scary, but even if you want to try to put on the most orange and purple colored glasses and see we could have really had 21 or 28 if things go well. That you're at this point where you're defending the 3-touchdown Duke loss and saying that everything's okay after you scored 7 points is just a big fat alarm to me that this thing is not where it's supposed to be, and now not really heading in the direction it's supposed to be. And I don't know how you could even, the most positive sunshine pumper of the Clemson brand could sit there and go, yeah, that was acceptable what we saw in that opener. So, yeah, very, very strange. It's kind of a strange feel around them right now. I don't know. It's weird because they can still go out and win 10 or 11 games. It just won't be as sexy as it used to be when they were, winning every game but maybe one or winning them all. And, they're still a lot better, farther along than most programs. But it's just some of the stuff he said recently, and I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I don't know how else to describe it. It just seems strange.
Yeah, on the schedule, he still has And look, this is just leaving out the unranked teams that might be ranked by the time they play them. But FSU in 2 weeks, they've got Notre Dame on November 4th and North Carolina on November 18th. If they play offensively how they played against Duke, they won't beat any of those three teams. If those three teams play offensively how they did in their first games. So the logic that works for you has to work for everybody else, right? So you can't just say well, we're going to do this and they're not going to do this. You have to, if you're using that, you do that. Not to mention, we don't know much about Wake Forest yet, but they're always a tough out. We don't know much about Miami yet, but they might be improved. I mean, they thumped the other Miami this week. We'll see how much better they are against Texas A&M and South Carolina, who, has offensive line issues clearly, but still has a pretty good quarterback and beat them last year. So
let me tell you something. We all overreact to the first game.
Yeah, for sure. There's part of that.
And Clemson could come back, and who knows? But there was. I didn't watch that constantly, because Monday nights for me after the show is full of doing so much more to get ready through the rest of the week. But I had it on, and they made some mistakes in the red zone, and unfortunately for them, now their entire fan base is by the way, speaking of which, Baylor fans are angry. They're angry.